kids who are in abusive households start to bully other kids. So I'm pissed at home because my parents are treating me like crap, but I can't do anything about that. If I start talking back to them, the abuse is going to increase, the toxicity is going to increase. So where can I safely express anger? I can't express it to adults, right? I can't get mad at teachers because teachers will punish me. But what I can do, what is the safest expression of anger, is I can find the smallest kid in class, the least threatening kid, and I can start to bully him. And what we sort of see in adults and prisoners of war is that they will oftentimes displace that anger in safe places. And what does it mean to safely displace anger or safely express that anger? That means that you can express anger sort of as much as you want, and there's a never-ending outlet for your anger, and that there's no consequence to expressing the anger. So when I express anger, I don't get punished in some way. Kids who are in abusive households start to bully others.
All right. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's podcast is going to be about bullies. Now, of course, we're all going to do like a little story time or whatnot, and maybe everybody will share their story. I know I'm going to share mine, but before we get into all that, how have you been, Tina?
Oh, I've been good.
What was up with the deep sigh?
Went to the gym today, and I'm feeling it. I kind of feel a little exhausted.
My bad. My fault. You say you're feeling it.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. Feeling that workout. They said, boy, that train got you in the chokehold.
Mm-hmm. But it's all good. Yeah. I wish I would have had like more of an outline of what I was gonna do today as well. But I would still say it was a pretty good workout today and pretty good week. Got a little bit of work done. Nah, that thing like the project still got a lot to go. But but it's been a good week. Yeah. How about yourself?
Oh man, every day is a good day. Every day is a blessing. Been pretty consistent when it comes to getting these workouts and stuff in. So that's always a blessing. Got some new things coming out as far as videos and stuff wise. But yeah, man, we still cooking over here. We definitely still cooking. Kobe's supposed to join the chat in a few, y'all, but yeah, we gonna get there. Wait, you got anything else you want to add before we get into this bully situation?
Um, no,
Huh?
not that I could think of.
Okay, is my audio good or is it still breaking up or?
It was, but it seems to be better at this
Cool.
moment.
Perfect. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump on into it, y'all. So one of the reasons why I came up with the title and the thumbnail, I've been recently seeing.
Hold
Huh?
on. Not really. It's like the more you push, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it's still doing that.
Still doing it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Even now.
Speak a little bit more.
Getting
I guess.
into talking. Huh?
Oh, yeah. Just go into what you was going to talk about.
Yeah. So speaking and talking about bullies. Today's podcast is going to be about bullies. We good? And I start cooking. And I to this thing.
If you want. I don't.
All right. I tell you what. If it breaks up, then hopefully people will still be able to get the summary of what I'm saying. So this podcast is going to be about bullies. I've been recently seeing some videos here and there on social media about bullies, and I figure that I will be a little bit more transparent on this video, on this podcast. So um, I had who all did I have up there? I know I had Tasha K, which I would definitely identify as a bully. In my personal opinion, I do believe that Tasha K is a bully. Um, I don't know what that other young lady's name was, but shout out to Mom. Mom actually sent me a clip of her, and yeah, man, most of those people that are on there, though, I knew it was gonna raise some eyebrows, and hopefully we got some people's attention to be able to kickstart and have this conversation about bullies. So, when I was younger, I was actually bullied, in a few different ways. The shoes that I had on. See, I would not allow anybody to touch me, but I grew up 6 kids, you know what I'm saying, in the house. So we said a lot of stuff to each other. I mean, like bagging on each other, talking trash about each other. That was normal. So, it was some stuff that, I really didn't necessarily mind that much. You know what I'm saying? When people talk about, either the clothes or the shoes that I had on or whatnot, I would let it slide. As long as you don't put your hands on me, we good. And as I got a little older, I started to realize that if that's like a form of bullying. You know what I'm saying? People basically talking about you or whatever, you minding your own business, like that's a form of bullying or whatever. And fast forward to a few years later, because this was when I was in elementary school or whatever, and this topic really hit home because I was thinking about one of the reasons why I started working out, lifting weights, getting in the gym or whatever, was because there were people around me, family members that I wanted to protect, but I couldn't because I was too small. Too small. I remember clear as day being at my grandmother's house, and we had Emma Scott Gym was right around the corner from my grandmother's house. So sometimes we would walk to the gym, and at the time, again, you're too small to be able to play on the court, so you had to go outside because we were too small. You had to go outside and play on them courts. I don't care how cold it was. The grown men used to play in the inside of the gym. We would have our little recreation time or whatnot for like 30 minutes. Most of the time was really for the older men or whatever. So we would go in there, maybe watch them play basketball or whatnot. But anywho, um, me, my two older brothers were walking back to my grandmother's house, and I'm not gonna identify who the family member was, but it was one of my family members had a boyfriend. Um, I guess you can say I don't really like to say baby daddy, but they had children together, and we were like just walking up the street because it was like a lot going on. Like they were having a conversation or an argument, and they were going back and forth. And me being the youngest out of the three, I had my older brother, which was my big bro, LaCarlos, and then my other older brother, Dariel. We're all 2 years apart, and we were walking, coming back from the gym or whatnot. And again, they were sitting there going back and forth, and the young lady was basically telling my two older brothers, like, get him out of here, just because I was trying to stop and see what was going on. Again, man, me being a little kid, probably 70 pounds soaking wet, could not do nothing with a grown man that was probably like 6'3", 280 pounds. It is absolutely nothing you can do, little dude. But I'm sitting there like I'm worried for her. Like, but this is a big guy, and mind you, she's smaller. She's like maybe 5'2", maybe 5'2", maybe 100 and something pounds or whatever. But at the time, I'm guessing it's her boyfriend. Anyway, they're bickering, they're going back and forth, and my brother's just like, come on, man, just they're just arguing. Don't worry about it. And so as we're walking down the street, like I can't help but keep like turning my head to kind of like look around and see what's going on. And so the guy struck her. He put his hands on her. And when I tell you, man, everything just went black. I didn't know how to take it. I was like, what? I have never in my life seen a man put his hands on a woman. Never, ever. And so I'm confused. I'm angry. It's just a big ball of just anger, man. And so I'm literally kicking, scratching, punching, trying to get back to the young lady to try to help, because this guy now is, he's physically assaulting her. And my other brothers knowing like, yo, it is absolutely nothing that we can do, bro. We got to leave. Like, when we get home, and when we get back to grandmother's, we can, maybe get somebody to call the police, but it is absolutely nothing that us three would be able to do to help with the situation. And shout out to my older brother, LaCarlos. So LaCarlos had just recently started getting into the gym, working out and stuff like that. And I don't know. I'll let him speak for himself, you know what I mean? Next time I have him on or whatever, one of the reasons why he started working out. But I looked up to him, and I was thinking to myself, like, yo, bro, I got to get bigger. I got to get stronger, because I have brothers, sisters, younger brothers, younger siblings and stuff. And even my older brother, they need my help. I need to be able to help them. There will never, ever be a time where I ever feel this helpless again. Completely helpless as a young kid at, again, like 70, 80 pounds, couldn't do anything. And you have one of my loved ones being physically abused by a man because they had a disagreement. Mind you, this young lady did not put her hands on him or whatever. They were just having a disagreement. And, he lost his temper and he put his hands on him. And so I was like, from this day forward, this will never happen again, ever. So I started working out, again, taking out my brother, but I took it a little bit more serious. Like, I was trying figuring out, like, what can I do? Like, put 185 pounds on the bar at 78 pounds. I need to be big by next week. Like, how can I get that big, like that quick? But anywho, there were a few other scenarios that kind of popped up in my life or whatever, where I'm thankful and I'm grateful that I was able to be that protector from those people that I identify as bullies. People, to me, a bully can come in different shapes and sizes. Just because somebody is smaller than that person does not mean that they still can't be a bully. You can be a bully when it comes to, authority. You can be a bully when it comes to power, when it comes to size or whatever. But one thing that I have always, and I mean always, despised of is a bully. Somebody that literally preys on the weaker person or the weaker species or whatever. I cannot, like, it just thinking about it really makes my doggone stomach turn. Just thinking about that, man. But yeah, that was one of my stories. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a little bit transparent or whatnot, man, and share one of my stories before we really get into this podcast. So you guys already know that I'm extremely passionate about, this particular topic. Don't like bullies. Cannot stand bullies, man. Do y'all have like a story or whatnot? I see we got Kobe that just came in. What's going on, Cole?
Hey, what's going on, fam?
What's good? What's good? It's been a minute. How you been, man?
Man, working, making moves, um, trying to better myself physically because me and the wife have set out a goal to lose a certain amount of weight by July.
Hey,
So
okay.
we're doing that together.
Beautiful thing, brother. It is a beautiful thing, man. Tell you guys, congratulations, and we proud of you, man. Y'all know, definitely got my support. You know what I'm saying? Just let us know if we can help out in any way. I would, if y'all just need, an extra body to be there and whatnot while y'all get it in, just let me know.
Hey, I was because once I told her how I was feeling in regards to myself physically, I
Mhm.
immediately bought me a Planet Fitness membership immediately.
Let's go. Putting them words into action. I love it. I love it, man.
But I didn't know like what because I know we usually meet at the one we normally meet at, but
Hmm.
like we're me and you just literally around the corner from each other. So
Hmm.
I didn't even know when you go or do you ever go out to the one out where we at.
Probably. I go to all of them, bro. I go to every single last one of them. I switch it. But yeah, we'll definitely chop it up. We'll try to figure out something with that, man. But we're on the subject about bullies, man. Do you have any stories or any insight or whatnot when it comes to bullies?
Yeah, uh, I had my fair share of being the one that was bullied.
Hmm.
Um, and I believe that that came in reason because of me being smart, me being nice, and being the quiet one. So um, I always thought like, why anybody want to do that to me? I'm nice, I'm cool. Like I say to myself, I don't say nothing to nobody, and I feel like my outlet of not being bullied or not to get bullied was me playing sports.
Okay. Yeah, that's understandable. It makes sense. You're part of a team. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it was not just being part of the team. It's just when people saw me play sports or football and basketball, I would never
Hmm.
ever get bullied. But
Yeah.
once the season's over, for both, like you never know who I was.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Tina, I wanted you to chime in. Did you have a story or something like that you wanted to share about being bullied or anything?
Um, it's not extensive, and I don't know if I can really trust my memory because I feel like I'm on the outside looking in to the memory. And so it's not a full memory either. So that's why I was just like sitting here, probably was gonna say no. But from what I can remember, I feel like I'm either seeing myself or seeing someone else, and we were in the girls' locker room, and there were some girls either teasing me or teasing someone else about discovering that she's a woman. And it's like, they're being mean, saying ill, and throwing, hygiene, feminine products towards her or me. I don't know who it was. And so that was kind of like, it was traumatizing to really to see that type of behavior amongst teenage girls. Like, we all go through it. Like, we're all females. Like, why aren't you like almost consoling, saying it's okay, giving her encouragement to go see the nurse or something like that, but you're mocking her for just something normal. And of course,
Getting to the
around
point.
that teenage years, like, if her mother hasn't told her, what this might be, she's probably scared in this moment. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if my memory is like someone else's memory, or I'm looking on the outside in, or this happened to me, but I don't know. It
PTSD
just
can be cruel.
Yeah, so ah um yeah, like children, they can be cruel. They tend to sometimes not have a filter. So I just from that, I just wanted to like educate myself on like what it means to be a woman as far as like the autonomy of it and the genealogy of it and stuff like that. So like in case I do have a girl or, a young girl around me, she's growing up, she finds me as a role model or something like that. Like I can give her that information that she may or may not be getting from a parent or, guardian or something around her so that she won't, go through a situation like that where she's scared when it's normal and you just have to prepare yourself.
Did y'all ever have, or was there ever a time when the people around you were bullied, and just wondering what was y'all response like to that?
Honestly, I've witnessed it quite a few times. Uh, going through school or just growing up in general, and also um, you kind of and sometimes when you are that person just sitting there and you don't say anything, you kind of look at yourself being a part of it. If you get what I'm saying,
Hmm.
if you're just sitting there watching it happen and don't say anything, you kind of feel like you're being a part of that group, and sometimes you're not the one saying anything, or you're not the one laughing or kind of egging on the situation. That person that is being bullied or embarrassed will point out you, and you're the person that's not even, doing, all that. So I've seen it, and it's not cool because sometimes, because I always, it's sometimes when you look at it back, when you look back and you think now, you be like,
I think Cole's mic went out a little bit until he gets back. Tim, you want to go ahead and chime in on that question that I asked?
Uh, yeah, pretty much kind of like him. It was this girl. I want to say she was new to the school, and uh, people get that notion that she was pretty. She was a dark skinned young girl, and most people had got the notion that she would, they thought she was all that, this and that, in a bag of chips and stuff, snickering and stuff like that. And
Not a Snickers, no.
you know how they behind the back laughing about her and stuff.
Yeah.
So I never said anything, but I don't know if I ever walked, tried to get to know her
Mm.
instead of like just separating not really saying anything, teasing her or nothing like that. But I don't know if I did. I wanted to, because I feel like I understood, being a new kid, new face around here, not knowing anybody, feeling like an outlander or, lone wolf and stuff like that. So, but I did. I remember her name, but I ain't gonna say her name.
Yeah, no names, no names. So the crazy thing with me was wait, Kobe, did you want to did you want to finish your story? Yeah, cut out for a second, my friend. Yes, we'll hopefully be able to hear from them soon. But I guess I'll go ahead and chime in real quick. I think honestly the early part of my life honestly was surrounded around this particular topic. Just like you were saying, Tina, I grew up in a we moved a lot. We moved a lot, man. So I do understand what it's like to be the new kid, the lone wolf, the outcast or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Used to pretty much just sit at the back of the classroom, like, listen, I'm not gonna talk to you. You don't talk to me. I'm just here, literally, just to do my time, these 12 years or whatnot, and get on up out of here. But I started to realize really, really quick, man. Unfortunately, like those kids that were looked at as the popular kids, they oftentimes picked on almost everybody else. And those people, whether you want to call them the nerds or the lames or whatever, they didn't have any protection. They didn't really have anybody to speak for them or whatnot. But I was able to gravitate more towards those people because I understood what it was like to be looked at as, an outcast or whatnot. And so they needed, a voice, or they needed some type of protection or whatever. And like I told you guys since the beginning, man, I have never will be a fan of a bully. Can't stand it, man. And so I would like put myself, I would interject myself into certain situations or whatever. Like, say for instance, I see a kid being picked on by multiple people or whatnot. And let's say for instance they say something about his shoes. They're like, yo, I got a pair of those. You know what I'm saying? They sitting there talking about his shoes or whatever. I'd be like, oh, yeah, I got a pair of those, and sit there and basically dare them to try to crack a joke on me. I want you to please give me a reason to have to step into this or whatever. And so, like, if you go from anywhere from I'm gonna say middle school on up into high school, the people that I hung around most of the time, they would identify those guys as, the nerds, the lames, or whatever. But those guys were a lot more like authentic. They were always being themselves. They weren't trying to be somebody else, just to be able to fit in. And so if you ask anybody that I grew up, that I hung around, they will tell you, like, bullies really didn't exist around me. They just didn't. That's just something that I did not. I had a zero tolerance and still have a zero tolerance for bullies. So I probably got like maybe 30 stories that I can tell you about some things that happened, you know what I mean, in school, during sports events and stuff like that. One of the instances was we were at track. I don't know, did any one of y'all do track or whatever?
I went to practice.
Okay, yeah. So the track meets, especially like the regional meets, are really, really big meets. You got a lot of people kind of like sitting around chopping it up because there's so many teams and so many people there that, people are interacting with different people, some good, some bad or whatever. Most of the time those regional meets aren't that bad outside of, the initial race or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Especially the 4x4 and the 4x1. Like, those are like the most intense out of all the races, if you ask me. But it's a lot of mingling going on or whatever. And so I'm sitting over there, chilling, minding my business. And one of my friends come up and they was like, yo, Key. They call me Key. Yo, Key, these dudes trying to jump me. And I was like, what? And so I was like, point them out. So it was him, myself, and we did have a third friend. I ain't gonna call him out. We did have a third friend, but I understood, like, he don't fight. He's not a fighter. He just just like to chill. He wants everybody to be happy or whatever. So it was really just me and my friend, and it was like 4 or 5 other guys from another school. And mind you, my friend, my homeboy that I'm talking about, he was maybe 5'1", 5'2", extremely fast, real fast. So his event was like the 4x1 and the 100 open 100 meter or whatever. But this guy don't really talk, really quiet, goofy or whatever. He don't bother anybody. And I'm never gonna be taking up for somebody that got a lot of mouth. If you got a lot of mouth, then hey, you asked for it. But the guys that I hung around, they kept to themselves. They didn't really say anything, and so like those guys, those type of people, I'm gonna vouch for 1,000%. You ain't got to worry when you're around me. Now, again, if you one of those people that like to pop off, that like to sit there and go back and forth with a lot of people, fam, listen, 1-on-1, if you get your tail beat, you get your tail beat. Like I'm not gonna allow anybody to jump you, but you know, again, if you mouthing off and you know you and some other person get into it, then you know I'm all for you know 1-on-1 fight or whatnot. But anyway, he was like, yeah, man, they trying to jump me. I'm just like, oh nah, you know, I already know you a quiet guy. Let's go see. So these guys were they wasn't sitting around in like a full circle, but they were sitting around kind of like just talking, dapping each other up or whatever. And so he pointed at them, and I walked up on all of them, and I was like, so what's up? So y'all trying to jump people? And the biggest dude was looking around like, what you talking? He kind of sized me up a little bit, like, nah, ain't nobody, like, what's going on? Ain't nobody trying to jump nobody. And then I pointed at him because he was standing back with it. I was like, my homeboy over there said that y'all was trying to jump him. Oh nah, man, we was just playing. Like, all right, okay, cool. Well, just know that he with me. And then we just walked off. But it was a lot of scenarios like that happened in middle school and in high school. Like all of that stuff needs to be addressed. Like all bullies need to be addressed, and they need to be put in their place. Again, if you're somebody that sit there and mouths off at somebody, and then you know that's just consequence behind the actions of having a big mouth. I don't take up for those type of people. The people that I do vouch for, that I do look out for, are the people that pretty much keep to themselves or people that can't defend for themselves. Like that right there, man. Again, I have a zero tolerance for that. So I wanted to go ahead and play this next clip. If you can pull up that other clip real quick. Kobe, did you get your microphone straight, bro?
Yeah.
Did you want to go ahead and answer that last question before we get into this next topic?
And what was the question in regards of?
What was the question? Oh yeah. So, was there ever a time where somebody was basically being bullied in front of you, and then pretty much how did you respond? I think you were answering that question before you got cut off.
Yeah. It's very majority of the time that I've witnessed, like I've kind of stepped in and told them like, hey,
Yeah, I think your audio is going out again,
with
bro.
someone I've always.
You
Can you hear
might
me
you
now?
might have to, if your Bluetooth is on, you might have to turn your Bluetooth off. I think that really helped a lot
All right.
with yeah.
All right. Hold on. Let me see. Did that work?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Okay. So normally when stuff like that happens, I normally just tell them like, hey, leave them alone. They ain't bothering you. And majority of the time, if it's one of them kids that are really smart, I always hit them with like, you gonna need them. And every time I said that, they couldn't stand when I say that. They're like, I ain't gonna need them. I ain't gonna need them. I'm like, nah, you gonna need them
Yeah. Sooner or
because
later.
something that you weak at, they excel at, and you're gonna need them.
Yep. That's why you don't treat people wrong, man. That's why you don't treat people wrong. That's why you don't burn bridges. Again, if it's ever a situation where, y'all fall out and that person continues to hold the grudge, that's one thing. But yeah, that's the reason why I don't fall out with people and I don't burn bridges. Again, if you want to feel some type of way or whatever, that's cool. But as far as me, I do not and will not hold a grudge. Now, as far as having a conversation, as long as there is respect on the table, then a conversation can be had. But the minute or the moment you take that respect off, then yeah, we ain't doing that, man. We definitely not doing that. But Tina, did you have anything else that you wanted to say before we get into this next portion of the video?
No.
Okay, guys. So again, we are talking about bullies today. So this topic was actually about black mothers have dropped the ball, and it's so crazy because this is actually not a mother that's speaking; it's a father that's speaking. And I'm gonna let him, get his rocks off or whatever before I chime in or whatnot. Before we chime in, but I'm gonna go ahead and let him rock. You want to go ahead and play? I can't remember exactly what this guy's name is. I think his name is Rico. I think his name might be Rico. I think.
Yes, Rico
Yeah.
Hondo.
I think that's him. That's talking.
Wait, that's why I pull up on children. I just pulled up on the child.
Put it up on
I pulled up on it,
And what do you mean by this?
so my son had an issue with a kid who was 3 years older than him,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And so he put his hands on my son, but my son got up and he tried to fight back, but he really couldn't. But he's 10. You know what I'm saying? The other kid was 13. So my girl's like, yo, you should call the school. I'm like, what the school gonna do? Suspend him? He gotta understand that there's bigger consequences than suspension.
Yeah.
So, I coached the football team, so they were all calling me left and right, like, oh, Coach Rico, this and this and this is happening. So I was like, all right. So they put the kid on FaceTime. I tried to talk to him and he wanted to be tough. All right, cool. So the next day I pulled up on the kid right after school.
Yeah.
And then after I said what I had to say, I was like, now call your mother, call your father, put them on the phone.
Yeah.
Because I tell them that I said it too. Because I'm checking their child.
Correct.
Right? And I'm going to tell them right now, if your child puts his hands on my son again, especially because I have a nephew that's 3 years older than him, 16.
Yeah.
I get him fucked up if I really want
Let's
to.
play.
Right? But I'm not going through that. But what I want to do is I want to allow him to understand basically that village. We going to make sure that we tell you, you're going to understand the consequences of what can happen. And I'm going to tell your parents as well. So the mom got upset. She went to the school, but the principal called me and she was like, I understand what you're going for, but you just can't, because if you do pull up on a child, they can consider that as bullying and it can actually be a legal issue, which is what.
But it's not bullying when your child trying to abuse my child. Watch
You know
out.
what
They
I'm
looking
saying?
at them as being kids, but I feel like honestly the disconnect, everything came with like the evolvement of the human race, and I say that because everything changed when the internet and social media.
All
came
right, you can
into play.
pause it right
If
there.
everybody pays attention,
All right, so I want to get y'all thoughts on his method, and then we can dissect this thing or whatever. What are y'all thoughts
Tina, you
on
can
how
go
he
ahead.
handled the situation?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm with him, and I'm also I'm with him because like he said, he has to the the child that's the bullier has to understand that there's more consequences than just expulsion, being expelled. Um it's it's kind of to the extreme at this point in society though, because I feel like it shouldn't even have to be at that point. We should be able to go through the chain of command through the school and stuff like that, and you know whoever the teachers, I think teacher principal, they should be able to withhold the quote unquote law in the school to help nip the bullying in the bud. But since the way the society is and people are, and the way she was about to go into her story, it's just like you kind of have to go to the extreme to get your, not just get your point across, but to um correct this type of behavior.
Okay. All right. What's your thoughts, Cole? What are your thoughts on how he handled the situation?
I don't think he was wrong in the way that he handled it. He could have went about it a different way because I like Tina said, parents are wired differently nowadays, especially young parents that had kids at a young age, because the slightest bit of like him pulling up on the kid and I need you to put your parents on the phone and address
you. I think your audio went out again, my friend. But yeah, the last part we heard was I need you to put your parent on the phone.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Mhm.
All right, so like I was saying, like parents are wired different, and with you approaching somebody's child with not that parent being present, the slightest bit of hearing somebody approach their child, that parent's gonna feel like that you're trying to endanger my child, or you trying to intimidate my child or provoke them or something like that. So sometimes involving the principal is the best way, if especially if it's school wise. And then at that point, like I think him asking to call his parent just to address the issue to get it solved, or instead of like him checking that child, but also having that child's parent check them as well in that situation was I think it's the best bet, because you do not want this to go physical at that point. It's
Facts,
just
facts.
I just think personally, like if somebody's bullying my daughter, like first I'm gonna get the school involved and say like, hey, we need to have a sit down conversation with me, you, that child, and their parent to address the issue. But if that doesn't work from that point, then something got to change.
Facts, facts. So I would say this because I think that the way that you handle things in school versus the way that you handle things like in a neighborhood would kind of be a little bit different. Because one thing I do believe is I do believe that it takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child. And so if this incident occurred with or around the neighborhood, then I'm all for it. I think that you should know, your neighbors or whatever. And if you're showing your butt out or you're doing something wrong, I do believe that, it's good for a neighbor or somebody, another adult to step in and make those corrections. Now, with it taking place in school, there is a certain way that you need to go about handling things, because at this point, you are a complete stranger, right? And I did not like the fact that he said, I pull up on kids. So you basically, you're flexing about, you know, pulling up on a kid and trying to intimidate him. That's what it sounds like. And to that, I don't really like the way that he worded that. You know what I mean? And if you are going to pull up on a child, then make sure that those parents are present, the father and the mother, or whoever the parent or guardian is, right? But I don't think that you should ever have a conversation with a child with their parent or parents not being present. That's an automatic no. Like, what I'm saying, I can say it in the front of anybody. It's not me, being disrespectful, but I'm gonna tell you how things should pretty much be done, and then we can have a conversation or whatever. I want to make sure that I get the facts down packed. We all can sit down, we all can have a conversation and speak to each other as adults. And before this thing is resolved, I need to make sure I need to hear or see you have a conversation with your son, with your daughter, and speak to them, and hopefully, this thing doesn't happen again. But him, again, leading with "I pull up on kids," that's how this entire conversation got started. Yeah, no, I'm not rocking with that, fam, because
That's what
like,
I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. If you like, let's hypothetically, if you pull up on my child and confront them about them doing something to your child, like in my mind as a parent, I'm like, what the heck? Like you can't, you pulled up on my child like randomly,
yeah,
and I wasn't around. Like a parent gonna feel some type of way about that.
yeah, and I want to make sure that I put this out there before we move forward. If I have a child in this situation, you know what I mean, and this child has did something to harm your child, then you need to already know that there's going to be consequences and repercussions behind it. So I'm not just I'm not just angry with the fact that, you know what I'm saying, you wanted to. Well, I guess I am. I am feeling some type of way that you think that this is okay, but I don't want anybody to think that that child is going to be off the hook. Absolutely not. No, I'm gonna check that child, but you, as a grown, mature adult that have children, you should know better. This, under no circumstances should you ever, again, as he quoted, pull up on a child to intimidate them and try to force them to understand that there's going to be consequences and repercussions behind their actions with that other, or with those other parents not being present. You just don't do that, man. Like, I can't slice this pie any other way. It's just a no. What are your thoughts on what we've been saying, Tina? What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys have been saying that um the other child's parent or parent guardian should have been present as well. I was, yeah, kind of agreeing. I think Kobe did say something about, a conference between the parents, the children, the principal, maybe even the teacher as well, that everyone is there on the same page discussing the behaviors and consequences and repercussions to the bullying behaviors, instead of, doing it the way that he did. Yeah, that does look a little bit like, if you take it
Childish.
out, yeah, childish. And if you take it out of an action or a reaction, that could be a form of bullying too. Like, he's bullying the bully in a
Yeah,
sense,
yeah.
you
Because
know.
he
Exactly,
even said,
exactly.
he
If you
said,
if
he
you
said.
saying
Wait, hold on one second. Because he said in this video, he said, I got a 16-year-old that can basically f that child up. So who's to say what exactly he said to that child while those other parents weren't present? Yeah, nah, man. Yeah, that's this was childish. This was
oh
childish
say
on a whole
that
nother level.
say that I want you to sit up there in an office or something like that with a principal and say, well, if you want to bully my son, I got a 16-year-old that will do the same thing to you. You all you just doing is just repeating what that child was doing to yours. So now you're implementing in your child's mind, hey, if somebody that's 3 years older than you is bullying you, find somebody that's 3 years older than them and have them go do the same thing.
Blind following the blind, man. It's just a big loop, a big circle. Instead of, again, men don't move like this. This is what I've been wanting to say. I was trying to be nice, but men don't move like this. This really seems like some feminine characteristics, moving based on feelings instead of logic. The logic thing for you to do is, again, have a conversation that's going to hopefully end with a peaceful result. Have the conversation with that parent. I mean, with that child and that parent being present, as well as your child. And listen, we can all pull it out here and have a conversation. But you talking about, I got a 16-year-old that can pretty much just f this child up. Like, what did you think that the principal was going to say? Like, they told you, and then you're a coach. Here's the thing: you are a coach, which means you are responsible for other children, other young males growing up, and they're seeing this. Oh, okay, so maybe I didn't have a father figure growing up, but Coach Rico used to pull up on kids. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Like, no, fam, you you're not moving the right way, man. You're not moving the right way. Not as a man. That's how a child would move, or a feminine person that move based on their feelings. And I'm just speaking and talking about the mindset of a person. All right, the mindset and the actions, and that literally seems like this is somebody that's still in high school, not somebody that's a coach, not somebody that's a dad, or not somebody that's a leader. Leaders don't move like this, not based on feelings.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Now, let me ask you this: do you consider this bullying? Do you consider a woman that has a child with a man and the relationship does not work out, but he continues to take care of the child and provide for it, but once that that man is seeing someone else, now all of a sudden, like, she doesn't want him to have the child, she don't want nothing from the man, and when he tries to do stuff, she won't allow him to, and she's just like kind of torturing the man at all costs. Is that a form of bullying?
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted Tina to chime in on this thing real quick before I give a little context behind me saying it.
Oh,
Tina, did you want to chime in real quick? Because I feel like, yeah, my answer is gonna be very, very long winded. So I just wanted to make sure that you get some time to answer those.
I'm actually trying to see the bullying. I can see how it. Well, actually, I can't see, but I'm not saying that it's not bullying. I would more categorize it as like a form of manipulation and um not. I don't know why I want to say belittling, but
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe
okay.
give a little bit more context. Now, is she doing this in hopes of trying to get him to do something or get him to submit or something like that?
Okay, let's look at it as like, all right, so it's like almost, it's like, okay, let's use a bully for example. In TV shows, when you see bullies and that bully say, "Give me your lunch money," and they be like, "Well, I don't. Well, I need this for my lunch." He's like, "No, give me your lunch money, or I'm gonna beat you up, and I'm gonna take your lunch money."
Right, but I want to stay on the subject about the what's the name. So I'm wondering because I do know in some cases, you do have women that will use the kid as a pawn and say, if you don't do this and you don't do this, then you won't be able to spend time or whatever with this kid, or whatever. So is that like the case?
Yeah,
Are we
that's the
putting
that's
that?
the example I was trying to give off in a sense.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I'm thinking, right? And so did you want to maybe finish answering the question, Tina, or
Um, yeah, I think it pretty much yeah, I think I pretty much answered it. That would be definitely I still can't I can it wasn't said in the scenario of like if you don't do this and that and the third, you won't be able to see your child. So but it's still more in my eyes look like manipulation and contingencies there versus bullying, I guess. But you can go ahead, Katie.
well, I was going because I know Kobe probably wanted to answer his own question. What are your thoughts on it?
I to me, I do kind of consider as a form of bullying, but it's like Tina said, there's other things that when you look at it, it's like, okay, I that's being bullying, but I also can see that it's being like manipulation and trying to persuade you to do things that you don't want to do, like, hey, I need this money, or I need this, unless you're not gonna see your child. Like that's like it's
So
I think it's still a form of bullying, but it adds on other things as well.
when I think about manipulation, right? When I think about manipulation, I'm thinking about somebody that may be a little bit smarter than that other person or whatever. When I think about bullying, I think about force.
Mhm.
I'm trying to force you to do something that is either not in your best interest or whatever. I'm trying to force you to do something. So when I think about bullying, somebody is like trying to do this with force. And if you have someone, a guy, now did you say that this is not his child, or it is his child?
It is his child.
Right. So you have a dad, right, that been rocking with, is, you know what I mean, close to his son or whatever. They've developed, uh, they have a very, very strong relationship. And then you have somebody else that, again, that's using force, telling you, if you don't do this, this, and this, in my eyes, we don't move past manipulation. This is just straight up bullying, because I'm trying to force you to submit to what I want you to do. And if you don't do that, then I'm going to take away all of that. All of those things that was once on the table, I'm taking that from you. And you really have no choice in the matter. So, again, when it comes to manipulation, I think that that's like low scale. Bullying to me is like high scale. Like, again, I'm doing this, like, I'm trying to force you to do something that I want you to do that you probably don't want to do. What are y'all thoughts on that? My thought process on bullying and manipulation. Because most of the time, I think the person that's doing the manipulation or whatever, they're smarter, and they're getting somebody to do something in most cases that they don't even realize that they're being manipulated in some instance. But when you being bullied, you know it. You There's no doubt in my doggone mind that, like, this is bullying clear as day. Like, I'm not gonna confuse this with anything. And if somebody is basically telling me that if you don't do this, that, and the third, then I'm taking away all of your rights. I'm taking away all of it. It's off the table. I think manipulation, they trying to hide something. Bullying, they not trying to hide anything. I'm telling you what it is.
Okay, okay. I was looking up the definition of bully.
You can break it down to us. We can see. I might be off. I'm open. I'm
Well,
open
I
to it.
think you're on it. It says one who is habitually cruel, insulting, or threatening to others who are weaker, smaller, or in some way vulnerable. So yeah.
Uh-oh. Lunch for girls knowledge. What are y'all? But yo, I want to hear from y'all. We heard what the definition, but I want to hear from y'all. What are y'all thoughts on, how, what my view is on that, on bullying and manipulation or whatnot. Which, I do agree, it's manipulation, but to like a certain degree.
And manipulation is the act of controlling or influencing others for personal gain, often in an underhanded or dishonest way.
Mhm.
It can involve using emotional or psychological tactics to change someone's behavior or perception.
Mhm. Okay, okay, okay. So after hearing that, what are y'all thoughts now?
Yeah, um, because like you were saying, it's not a hidden agenda. Like it's in your face. If you don't do this, this, and that, and the third, you won't be able to see your son. I don't even. Yeah, I don't know if she wants a XYZ amount of money or whatever like that. So yeah, like the way that females tend to go about it, when it comes to their child's father and keeping their child out of their fathers or this is lives,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I definitely would say that is a form of bullying because that's cruel. Like it says, it's cruel. I should have still had it up. But yeah, the guy, yeah, I would say he's in a vulnerable position because, like, unless he's, want to get the courts involved, like, what is he supposed to do? Like, he could talk to her till he's blue in the face, but if she's really not, like, trying to be open to the situation, she's still bitter and angry and stuff like that, it's not going to help the situation. It's not going to give the results of allowing that relationship between the child and the father to grow.
Right. That's definitely facts, man. That's definitely fact. Kobe, you want to chime in on this real quick?
Um,
Oh, come back in. Come
Wait,
on.
you say you did?
Yeah, there you
I'm I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, my bro.
All right. So I completely agree. It's like the definition between the two are completely different, but there are similarities to it. So I completely agree with your statement. It's it's the like you said, bullying is considered with force. It doesn't have to be physical, but like when you're talking manipulation, control and stuff, that's too like it works hand in hand, but it's different because like you it's almost in a sense like saying when you compare that to like you say like when it comes to school bullies and somebody that stays to themselves, that child can know like I already know when I get to school that I gotta give such and such my lunch money. So that's like it's a manipulation, it's a control. Like his mind is already set like, oh, when I get to school I gotta give him my lunch money. When I get to school, I know I'm gonna get bullied. I know when I get to school this is gonna happen and this gonna happen and this gonna happen. It's a cycle.
Oh, that's facts. That's definitely facts, man.
I gotta. I might
Go
be,
ahead.
wrong, but I got it a little bit. So Katie, you had said something about bullying in the workforce.
Hmm.
Can you give me an example of that?
Now, hold on, wait a minute. You said bullying in the workforce?
Yeah, like you was how was where did it come from? I know you had said it. I forget how the whole statement went, but you pretty much saying it could happen. I guess if you're a leader or working or something like that. I forgot how you said it. Ah,
Yeah, if you can give me a little reminder, because it do sound like something that I probably touched on, probably in another conversation or something like that. Bullying in the workforce was
those workforce wasn't your exact words, but I think I associated it with that.
mhm.
Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just come back to you on this.
Yeah, if you can figure out yeah the topic or whatever, like yeah, I would love to talk about it. I'm trying to figure out bullying in the workforce. I'm just wondering, am I talking about or am I thinking about like coworkers or a supervisor?
I think you was leaning towards supervisor because I feel like you had said leader.
Mhm.
So or like it. Well, did you say leader?
Yeah, you do have. I will say that you do have people that abuse their power, right? That's why they have to be. I wish the vetting process was a lot better when it comes to choosing managers and supervisors. You have people that allow that or let that power go to their head, and you know they'll sit there and try to overwork people, schedule people when they know good and well they got to go get their kids from daycare or school or whatever, and hey, you either stay here, you know what I'm saying? You can either choose that job or you can choose either one. But I've heard of a lot of different scenarios where that has been the case. Again, a child that grew up in an environment where I've seen my mom work 2 and 3 jobs to make sure that we were okay. It's a lot of crazy nonsense that she had to deal with at some of those jobs just to make sure that she could keep a roof over our head, clothes on our back, and food on the table. She's dealt with bullies. Those people I would definitely identify as bullies, and normally, I don't know what it is, but normally people, I'm just talking about people, whether it be, a manager, a coach, uh, just random people on the street or whatever. It just honestly seems like people only give that type of energy to certain people. Now, me, where I'm at right now, I rarely, and I do mean rarely, like I can't even remember the last time that I've experienced like that type of energy come off of anybody because I don't tolerate it. And I think that a lot of people can probably tell by the way that you carry yourself, the way that you speak, maybe the way that you dress, all of that stuff pretty much plays into, people are going to treat you how they think you want, how they think you should be treated. So if you walk around with confidence, if you, speak with confidence, depending on how you move, like a lot of that is going to play into how people treat you. But yeah, I have not experienced anything like that. I don't know, man. Maybe in my younger years or whatever, but yeah. Now that I think about it, I can definitely say in the last past 20 years, I haven't really had that. And I've definitely heard stories of people, again, having to stay at work, knowing that they have to go pick up their child. And, those people had to, call around and try to get somebody because their manager wouldn't let them off. Uh, talking to people crazy. Again, like I was saying earlier, and I don't know if that was from this conversation, but like I was saying earlier, just because somebody is smaller than you don't mean that they can't bully you because, when it comes to power, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can have somebody that's 5'1", you could be 6'2", but you need that doggone paycheck. And so I gotta stay here. I wouldn't necessarily say, but this is how I make ends meet as of right now. And so, a lot of people just they take that and they just deal with that for the time being, just to make sure that, they get that paycheck at the end of the week. And what I would still say to those people, you don't have to put up with that mess. There's so many different jobs and stuff out here. Now, I wouldn't recommend you just quit. You know what I mean? Make sure you have some other stuff set up or whatever. But again, that vetting process goes both ways. Make sure before you get into any job, into any relationship, whether it's business or personal or whatever, that it's some form of respect there. That way, you don't have to worry about that mess. You know. But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of as far as like bullies go that I've talked about. Did I answer anything?
Yeah,
I,
you
I think I kind of had an example like my best way to pretty much describe what you're talking about bullying the workforce is almost in a sense of a boss calling you saying like, hey, I need you to come in, it's your day off,
Oh,
and you tell him like, and you say like, hey, I can't come in because I got my kids and all this other stuff. And they say, well, when you took this job, you say you become a team player, and you be like, that's now that part, that's manipulation. And you like,
absolutely.
I am a team player, and they first thing they say is, well, if you don't come in, then you won't have a job after today.
Yeah,
Now that's
that's
bullying.
yeah, and that's crazy work too. That dog, man. It's my day off, brother. Dang. Come
yeah,
in.
It's just, if you look at it, like I've heard jobs like Frito Lay, like if you're off, and they say if they call you and you answer, you got to come in.
Yeah,
That nah.
I've had a lot of people that work for Frito Lay, and I would agree with that. I hear all the time about them working conditions. Them things is crazy. The pay is not worth it. They try to fill your head with all these, these good thoughts or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? You get as much overtime as you want. You're getting paid, you know what I'm saying, time and a half, and you get bonuses, blah 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 blah. But they gonna work the ish out of you. And most of those people that were in power, they don't give a damn about you. Sorry for cursing, but they don't care, bro.
Because like I told you, bro, I see them every in the work, the line of work I'm in. I see them
Mhm.
every day, and every single one I see, they say they work 14, 15 hours shifts a day, and they get home
Mm.
6, 7, 8 o'clock, and really don't have enough time to eat or wind down. Because by the time they eat and got a shower, they gotta get right back up.
Mm.
Mm.
I'm telling you, hey, that them factory jobs is crazy. But I've heard about Frito Lay. I really have.
I ain't heard about Frito
You ain't had no friends that work that have worked for a warehouse. All them warehouse jobs be crazy.
Lay.
Tina, I'm trying to tell you, if you, I promise you, if one day, I know my company would never do it, but I'm just saying it just hypothetically. If you were able to be with me at my job just for a day, just for one day, you would most definitely see what I'm talking about.
I believe you.
Mm.
I'm not gonna hold you on that. Only thing that I've seen was like things on social media with I want to say either Walmart or Amazon, on how things are, their conditions are, but I really haven't heard anything or seen anything about like pretty much if they call, you gotta pretty much come back out there and stuff like that. So no, and I don't think Pepsi is aware. Well, if she
It
had any
is.
type of stories, she ain't tell me. But yeah, I believe y'all.
Well, every job, every company is different. Not all of them are same. Like some of
Mhm.
them actually take care of their employees and look out for them. But like if you're talking Frito Lay, Amazon. Now I know for a fact Amazon is like that. Like I think my homeboy works for Amazon, and I think sometimes he said he works 12, 14 hour days, and it's like, but I think it's like he works 3 or 4 days and he's off for the rest of the week. If it's like that, then that's different. That's different. But if you like a person coming in to work in the warehouse at Amazon and you're a seasonal worker, if you go, because seasonal workers, they go in, scan pallets, because I've done it before. You go in there, scan pallets, you scan products and put them on a pallet. You wrap that pallet. You're just doing that consistently for 4 hours. You're working 4 hours a day. But if you need to if you want to pick up an extra shift and make some extra money, they'll let you do it. But the kick and the catch to it is if you go in there and you put yourself on another shift, but if something come up and you can't go in, like you can't go in there and be like, I can't come in on this shift. Well, nah, they'll be like, nah, you gotta come in because you put yourself in on it.
Mm.
And if you don't, that can cause you to get fired.
That's
Mm.
crazy. I do wanna I wanna wrap this up real quick because I know um Tina got to get back to Paris, I believe. I think she got to do a little modeling gig out there or whatnot. And Kobe, I know you got to get back to running that Fortune 500 company. So I don't want to take up too much of y'all time. But before we get out of here, always, especially this year, I want to make sure that we provide the people that's listening with a little bit of advice. You know what I mean on how to deal with bullies. Now, it could be, however y'all want to do it. If y'all want to, talk about it from, a kid to kid perspective. If y'all want to talk about it from a adult to kid perspective, you want to talk about it from, work perspective, manager and a worker or whatever. However y'all want to do it or whatever. But yeah, if y'all just give a little bit of advice on how you would handle a situation with a bully, or how you think what would be best or whatnot.
I would most definitely say handling bullying is it's not very easy
No.
because one thing as a adult, a child,
Mm-hmm.
especially as a child, is to identify and acknowledge that you are being bullied. That's the number one thing that you have to do is acknowledge and tell somebody that you are being bullied and not be afraid to say anything because you're scared of the repercussions of it. And because there's always going to be somebody that is willing to stand up for you, especially as a kid, because
Absolutely.
as a kid, you're going to need somebody to be there to stand by you and stand up for you. And as also as an adult, because sometimes you're bullying that you're obtaining and you're getting can it can end up bad
Yeah.
because bullying causes people to attempt suicide or commit
Yeah.
suicide
Or
and
even
all
crash out and start messing with other people. Yeah.
crash it may yeah it might also cause you to take that trait that person put on you and bully other people, or it could result into violence and physical, and that's something that you don't want to do, because if you are, talk to somebody, acknowledge it, accept it. It's almost like when you lose somebody in your family, you got to go through the stages of it, like the grief of it. You got to allow it to sit in and accept it and move on, and find an outlet and find something that you can do to get you to get through it. Even if you want to go talk to some like counseling like therapy, but I will most
Self-defense
definitely say
classes.
yes, absolutely. And I'll most definitely say like get somebody, talk to somebody. Don't result into any type of physical altercations with anybody, because it's not going to solve it. It's a temporary feeling, temporary sensation. So, like I said, just find somebody to talk to, acknowledge it, accept it, and find the help that you need to resolve that issue, and let that issue be an afterthought to you at all costs.
Okay. Rock with it. Rock with it. All right, Miss Tina, can you help us out a little bit? You know what I mean? Those people um that are being bullied, or even, you can also speak to maybe people, because I'm not gonna lie, right? I'm just gonna put this in there before I give it to you. Me trying to be a protector of bullies. The crazy thing is, I even wore that hat for a short amount of time until I had to check myself of being a bully. But go ahead, Tim. I'm gonna let you rock. Let you rock. My bad. My bad.
That's okay. I think Kobe had touched on it. I was actually going to touch on the aspect of the bullier, the person that's doing the bullying. For you to, pretty much like he was saying, I think that's what he said, was because the audio went out. My bad, Kobe. But just go ahead and speak to someone, figure out why you are bullying someone. Like figure out like what is triggering you when you see this younger, smaller person, child, adult, or however, in a smaller frame, not even in size wise, but in a mental frame. Like what about them is triggering you to want to lash out? Because it was something I want to read. I got a story, but
Go
um
ahead. Go ahead. No, you got a story. You can go ahead. You got
uh
some.
no thanks. So
Yes, Queen. Yes, my bad.
well, it's not my story, but like I take in content in a different way. And it was pretty much like what I was saying with the bully. Uh, I want to actually say I just recently finished listening to the Will Smith book, and I think he had said something about it would seeing yes, it was phenomenal, but
Phenomenal book. Yeah.
like but like there was seeing something in another person
Mm.
that, or was it that lady? My bad. I got anyway. But seeing something in another person, yeah, it was that other lady. But seeing something in another person that's triggering you
Mm-hmm.
because you see it in yourself.
Ooh. Ooh.
Stop. Dr. What's her name in Glee? In what is her name? Katie, you know what I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about, but it's been a minute since, like, I read. Well, yeah, I consumed Will Smith's book when that thing first came out, and it was a phenomenal read. But I cannot remember a lot of stuff in that story. I wish I could help you out.
So just to wrap it up, just like, try to pinpoint what is causing your anger, what is causing your frustration. Talk to someone. And this concept goes to both the one that's being bullied and the one that's doing the bullying. Always go and speak with someone. Get Surround yourself with support. Always look to either someone you look up to, a responsible adult, even a friend. If you are a child and one of your younger friends, you feel like you can confide to, if they have to be your voice for you to, I don't want to say get better or find that protection or find that support. If you can't speak for yourself, find someone else to speak for you to bridge that gap on what needs to be fixed. So don't be shy about it, even if you are shy. I know it's kind of hard to actually do some of these things, but like we were saying, there's always someone out there that's willing to stand by your side.
Facts. I'm gonna piggyback off that. I'm gonna tell y'all, man. A lot of people don't want to do the hard stuff, but at the end of the day, you you really ain't got a damn choice, man. It's like this. Either you can, again, sorry for cursing. You can either choose to stay where you are, or you can start taking those small steps. Rome wasn't built in a day or a week. You're going to have to take those small steps. I'm just thinking about all the different things that I had to overcome, you know, on top of being bullied, and then going as far as like, bro, you done took it a step over. You're now crossing the bully lane. You know what I mean? Checking myself and having to take a step back. Like, none of this stuff is easy, but it's necessary. It has to be done. Things have to be addressed, because I'm not one of those people that like to sit and waddle in, my tears or discomfort for very long. You're going to have to make those necessary adjustments, because I wouldn't encourage anybody to just stay just stay there. Whether you are a bully or you're the person that's being bullied. I did have a question. I know you were saying something about like kids like having a voice and stuff. I ain't gonna lie, it kind of took me back to my childhood, right?
Hmm.
Like those people that maybe don't have certain things and certain people at that time, like literally just feeling like it's you against the mother flipping world. Like, just putting myself back into those shoes where it seemed like, or it felt like, yo, when I'm at home, I'm good. When you're at home, you're protected. You know what I'm saying? The people that you pretty much grew up around, your mom loves you. Hopefully your siblings love you or whatever. Y'all gonna fight a lot. But when you go outside of that home, and not just going to school, but even as bad as walking to and from the bus stop, living in certain environments and stuff like that, you just like, it's sometimes it's those places where you're not protected. Like, what is one to do? What is a person that's being bullied to do when they're faced with those type of situations where the bully and those incidents occur where there's nobody to really help them.
That's a good question there. Kobe, unmute yourself. You got to answer.
It's tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't really know if I have a safe answer for that. Um, just my comment is that it's unfortunate when situations like that do occur. Um,
Or even, well, I can help y'all out a little bit. Even when maybe you are at school, maybe you have told the teacher that this person is bullying you or whatever, and regardless of what efforts that teacher done, you're still being bullied. You know what I mean? Like, what is a person to do when they go and get help, and that help really ain't really helping? They still feel like, or it seems like they're still being tormented by this bully, and it's probably getting worse at this time because I know in certain situations where people don't want to go and get help because they maybe think that if I do this, that you know what's happening right now can increase like 10 times. Like, oh, you've been you've been snitching. Oh, it's about to be even worse now. Now I'm really about to get
But
oh,
that's when stuff like that results when you see guns get involved, where these
But what
kids
will be
are.
the solution though? I want to know what's the solution to when you have this. We know what the problems have been. I want to know what's the solution for the person that's being bullied.
The solution is to find somebody to help you and get this resolved. But like I said, sometimes you're dealing with teachers that where you are telling them that they are being bullied, and the teachers kind of just being oblivious to it and not thinking like, hey, ain't nothing going on. And then when something really is going on, sometimes you be you be too late at that point, because that's when kids that's when I feel like kids are starting to result into violence because somebody's not helping them. And
I
that's
don't
why
want to.
and
I
that's
don't
why
want
I
to
say
stay too
kids
much
have
on
to
the
do that.
negative. Yeah, let's not spend too much time on the negative and the violence and stuff. I want to spend more time just zeroing in on the solution to those people that are really seeking, advice, any type of positive advice.
Okay, like I said in the beginning when I first gave my answer, violence is not going to solve anything. Do not result into violence, and I want to make that clear. Do not result into violence. Can I don't care if you tell somebody to their blue in the face. Tell somebody that you need help. Tell somebody that you need somebody to talk to. And sometimes you might have that friend that's there for you, and you tell them, and they have to be your messenger to notify somebody what's going on with you in order for you to get some help.
only response that I have is this may be your own personal test for you to stand up for yourself. I don't know in which way because I personally haven't been in that situation where like there wasn't anyone around me um to get that help from, to get that assistance from. Other than, when you go back home and tell your parents and stuff like that. But, we never know what mindset they would be in, I guess, post the incident. And most of the time, like I've only seen it in movies and stuff like that, where they actually, in the present, step up to the bully and like, when you see stop bothering me and stuff like that. Y'all have done this XYZ for so long. I'm through with this. And they usually back off after that point. But just off of, the information and the experience that I have, it's just my response is just this may be your own test for you to stand up for yourself. But if y'all have anything else to uh, any other input, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say, like I spoke about earlier, or whatever, when I think somebody else being bullied and me feeling helpless, I think that in a lot of different instances or whatever, the people that's being bullied probably feel that same way, feel like you're helpless. And I kind of threw it out there, talking about like self defense classes, things like that, man. Working out, what I'm saying, getting in shape, getting stronger, getting bigger, getting faster. All of those things can honestly help, as well as like communicating, talking to people or whatever. All of those things I believe will kind of like play a part in it. But and just to piggyback off of something that you were saying earlier, well, both of y'all were pretty much saying, you know, well, Tina, you were saying, this is probably just like telling you now is the time for you to take control of your life. You are in control, right? If these things are happening and you want them to stop, if you are, a smaller kid or whatever, there are other people that you can reach out to. If that person that you're speaking to and you're talking to, if you talk to them, they're not getting the job done, go over them. Go a step, go a step. If the teacher not getting it done, then I'm gonna go talk to my counselor. I'm gonna talk to my principal. I'm gonna keep telling them and letting them know, I'm still dealing with this. And it's really affecting me. Keep talking. The more you keep talking, the more people you get involved, I think the sooner, you'll get to that solution. Don't stop, don't give up just because you run into one roadblock or somebody that ain't doing a freaking job or whatever, or somebody that haven't provided you with the help that you need. Then again, go to somebody else. And in the meantime, between time, work out, man, work out, get stronger. Because those people that I had issues with early on growing up, that one guy in particular that I spoke about at the beginning of this video could easily, you know, mop the floor with that person. But I decided, like, we had a conversation or whatever, man. Let that stuff go. Him and the young lady, they're good now, and people. Hopefully, those people, they live, they learn, they grow up, they grow out of those ways, and you know, hopefully people mature or whatnot. But yeah, never give up on yourself, man. Keep working, trying to be a better version of you, physically, mentally, and emotionally. All of those things are extremely important.
You're right, because I most definitely think, in my opinion, anything anything that a bully has done to a person in the past, that child that was traumatized
Yeah.
never forgets. They would never forget. And in some cases, you run into that person years later, way down the line, and they see you, they speak to you and everything. And sometimes in situations, they'll tell you, like, hey, I apologize for doing what I did to you a
Yep.
long time ago.
Yep.
And they'll tell you, like, I don't know what was wrong with me. Maybe I was dealing with something, or they'll tell you they was actually dealing with something.
Yep.
And that and sometimes a person that was dealing with the bullying, sometimes hearing a person say I'm sorry, and that person explaining to them what was going on at that time. And sometimes you can just be that kid that was just young and dumb. And that apology would just that lifts a weight off a person's shoulders.
Facts on both ends. On
Hmm.
both ends, man. Yeah, you speaking facts, bro. That's a fact, man. No, I tell you what, I definitely want to follow. Tina, you got anything else you wanted to add?
Go ahead.
Nah, I ain't following that. That's it right there. That's I feel you on that, dog. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this podcast for the day, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys didn't get a chance to catch this thing live, we will be replaying this on Katie's Empire with almost 25,000 subscribers now, to give them the opportunity to be able to see this thing, replay of this So if y'all want to check it out or whatnot, we'll be chiming in. I'll be down in the comments or whatnot, just interacting with different people. But yeah, thank you guys so much, man. To all the people out there that are bullies, stop. The people that are being bullied, figure out a way to, stop that stuff from happening, man, in a positive way, in the most peaceful way that you can, that you can. All right. Until the next time, man, y'all be blessed. Y'all be beautiful. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.